Chris Lee and Blake Lovell of Southeastern 14 here. We're talking SEC basketball offseason roster movement. There's something to talk about every day, it seems like, Blake Lovell. And today we got about 5 guys to talk about. One from Kentucky, 3 from Bama, and 1 from Auburn. Let's start in Kentucky, where Cason Wallace, to absolutely nobody's surprise, is going pro. He'll be a high pick. That will be a big loss for the Cats. In other news, water is wet, the grass is green, and the sky is blue.
Yeah, I mean, I think people know I was pretty high on Cason Wallace. I thought his development was great throughout the season. You and I sort of identified early on, just as I think everyone did, that they were just a better team when he had the ball in his hands more. And, we kind of saw him evolve throughout the season and became just a really good player. And I think specifically, again, no surprise that he's going to the NBA. He should be a top 10, 12 pick, I would think. I can't imagine him falling any further than that. I think one of the reasons he's going to be such a high value pick is not just, the ability, him learning, playing that position, again, getting experience there, but also I think just the defensive aspect. Like he's going to be someone that a lot of teams will look at and say, man, if we can get a lockdown defender on the perimeter, those in the NBA are nice to have. And so, yeah, I think that, he's got a very bright future ahead. Be interesting to see where he lands. And we'll talk about kind of the draft. We'll have some fun maybe with some mock draft or something the week of, just to kind of, to give people an idea of where some of these SEC players could land. But yeah, I mean, no surprise. Kentucky, as we know, has a class coming in that will try to replace everyone that's leaving. We already talked about Jacob Toppin last week in another video. And yeah, so still some decisions to be made, but Wallace, very good player, and I think that again, this was the kind of season that NBA scouts wanted to see from him, and really see the skills that he has, to make it at the next level, and I think be a really good player at the next level. Nope, you're muted.
Helps
Oreo
to get
mute.
it off mute.
By the way,
The Oreo mute.
the technical issues. If you guys thought that we had went a couple weeks without technical issues, this morning we've tried to record this. We've had
made up for it all at once.
We've had all sorts of technical issues. So they're back. Don't worry. If you had a bet or you had a work pool the next time we'd have technical issues, don't worry. They have returned. So
some of them are self-inflicted, like me not taking it off mute. But all right, Wendell Green. Wendell Green's leaving Auburn and not leaving the door open for return. What's going on there?
Well, I mean, again, remember, players always have the option now until they don't, right? So anybody can say anything and still technically have the option to make a return. But again, you try to read into the post, right? It's a dangerous game sometimes when you try to read into social media posts. But he did say, "I will be starting my professional career and declaring for the 2023 NBA draft." There was no, "Hey, I'm coming back, like I'm leaving the door open." It was, I will be starting my professional career. So whether that means, going to the NBA as a draft pick or playing professionally somewhere else, earning money, that's what it sounds like. So, and I know Auburn fans have already discussed this, but we have not. So we are just kind of circling around and covering all the bases here. But so yeah, I mean, again, I have no idea. I mean, we can look at, again, some of these draft things, and remember, guys get to go through the process and improve, their stock, and hope that they put themselves in a position to have a chance, to be drafted and those kind of things. But we'll see. I mean, again, we're never doubting Wendell Green's sort of evolving as a player. I mean, this guy was, Bruce Pearl said it, I think, on Twitter, he said, one of the hardest working, most competitive players I've ever coached. So, I think Green will put himself positioned to have a great career professionally, whether that's, again, landing in the NBA, doing something else, I have no idea. But we'll find out and see. And yeah, so, I mean, look, Wendell Green was someone we talked about a lot, right? Just in terms of, he was kind of the guy that you always felt like was going to step up and make the big shots, and puts himself in position to do that and lead Auburn to a lot of wins. And, it was kind of the coach on the floor, if you will. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, Auburn's still got roster movement, as we know. We've already talked about some in particular, but it's just this is the nature of how it works. So it sounds like Wendell Green headed off to be a pro. So
He's putting himself in position to be in position.
well, yeah, that's what you got to do. I mean,
That's what you got to do.
if you don't put yourself in position to be in position, how are you going to get in position? That's the real
Right.
question. So
First step of putting yourself in position to be in position is to transfer from Eastern Kentucky to Auburn. So
well,
he's
I mean, it worked
he's had
out
quite the
for him.
rise.
It worked out for him. So yeah, I mean, again, I people will say all this stuff, but remember, it's like we can look at NBA draft projections and all that right now, but I mean, we've seen guys over the years that gone through the process and all of a sudden, they wow a certain team and that team takes a chance on them here or there, and hey, you never know. So
Okay, Alabama had 3 declare. I think Jahvon Quinerly and Charles Bediako have left some room right now to return, perhaps. Noah Clowney, according to you, I think, when we talked off podcast, seems
again,
more
it's a
more
scary thing.
more
I don't
inclined to
know.
go.
Yeah, like I don't know if that's but here's the deal. Clowney's going to be I've looked at some mocks. He's a
Big time
late
player.
first round at worst, probably, top 5 second round type guy. So, yeah, I mean, I think the expectation is that again, you read into what is said, right? And that's all you can do. You can read into what is said and um you know, he never said he couldn't come back, but he left the comment just as many other people do, thanking everyone and all the appreciation and everything. And so just said I'm declaring for the draft. So I think Clowney will be drafted. Again, probably first round guy. Again, late first round guy. Um, yeah, early second round. I think that's probably where he goes. And to me, he's the kind of guy that can improve his stock because we've talked about just kind of what he brings to the table and the skills that he has. I think that he always had the high upside. Like he was, and again, we know how NBA teams think. They're going to really look at that upside, just the versatility of a guy like that can rebound, can make shots, just does a lot of things well. And so I think yeah, I wouldn't expect him back at Alabama because he is going to be in a pretty good spot, I think, in terms of the draft. I mean, the other two, Quinterly, Bediako, um, I think remember it's just like we've said with other guys in the past. You're gonna see what's out there. It doesn't hurt you to go through the process anymore like it used to. Where just think about how crazy that was, right? How guys used to have to just be locked in to the, and they're like, nope, you got to know now. Like you got to decide now. That looking back, what a
Why did we
terrible
do that?
way to do things. But a level, and I think that's exactly what Quinterly and Bediako will do. Um, and like we said, it's never out of the realm of possibility. You can just go wow somebody, and all of a sudden, you shift your focus elsewhere, and you decide, hey, maybe there is more here than I thought. And so, but yeah, I mean, they clearly have left the door open. I think, and again, it's just sort of seeing what's out there, seeing what you have to work on, and yeah, I think Alabama, as we said, Brandon Miller's off to the NBA. We know that Clowney's off to the NBA. Um, just right. I don't want to play the guessing game, but you would expect probably, Quinterly, Bediako. We talked about that. They're going to go through the process, and so it'll be interesting to see what they look like next season. I mean, I think at this point, Amari Burnett transferred. They picked up Jaquan Walton, who we talked about last week in another video. That was a very nice pickup, I think, from Wichita State. Of course, started his career at Georgia, and so yeah, I think as with everybody, Alabama will just go back into the transfer portal, pick up some guys because I think everybody looks at that style of play, and there will certainly be some interest. We said already picking up Walton, and feel like he fits right into how they want to play. So, yeah, I mean, I keep saying, I know Alabama fans probably get tired of hearing it, but it's just I think when you think of all the pro potential on the roster, and just a disappointing finish. I think there's no doubt about it. To exit the way they did in the Sweet 16. But look, I mean, right, the team they got beat by is playing for the national championship tonight as we record this. So it's sometimes that happens in the NCAA tournament. So there you go.
All right, there will be many more off-season storylines in SEC basketball because
You
that's what
think?
happens in basketball these days. Yeah,
By the way, we're
never.
gonna play the refresh game, Chris. I'm gonna hit the refresh button, and we're gonna see if anybody is transferred since we started this video, because usually that's how it works.
Right,
All right,
right.
looking now. Nope. No
Nope.
transfers as we started 10 minutes ago. So I will say something real quick before you wrap up. There are obviously a lot of guys out there that I think are very high priority prospects on SEC teams' list right now. And so I think you'll start to see that shake out this week. I think there will be some very good talent joining the mix as always in the SEC. And there are a couple guys in particular I've got my eye on that I think will be making their choices very soon. So should be fun to see how these rosters continue to develop, because it never ends when it comes to the transfer portal. So
It never ends, and we're here for all of it. Best way to catch that, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button. That helps us get noticed. Anyway, he is Blake Lovell. I'm Chris Lee. We're Southeastern 14. Baseball stuff coming your way.
should the
Technical
video
glitches
work?
should the video work? That's the
It's
plan.
always put the caveat
But,
there. Should our recording actually work this time? Baseball coming soon. So.
This just in, AT&T is still digging up our neighborhood and painting lines and all kinds of stuff, and my internet connection is not any better. So anyway,
well, hey,
we'll hope it is
okay.
next time.
Yeah, hopefully next time. If it was up to us, we would put our friends at Bearded Iris Brewing. We'd put them in charge
We
of
would.
the internet, because they would take care of business. I tell you,
They would fix it.
They know what they're
And they'd
doing
fix
there.
it with a smile.
So yeah, be sure to check out our friends at Bearded Iris. Link in the description below. You can find all that there. But yes, I would fully trust them to have everything done by now. So.
All right. He is Blake Lovell. I'm Chris Lee. We're Southeastern 14. Thank you for watching. We'll see you soon.